Hello everyone and welcome to another game that was played in the 21st century but can easily be mistaken for a game from the 19th century. It's from the European Team Championship 2025 on board one. It's the clash Greece versus Serbia, Nikolas Theodorou versus Alexandr Predke. I'm not gonna talk anything more about it. Let's check it out. It's a beautiful game. So Nikolas with white opens with pawn to e4, and if you still haven't, first link in the description below. Our tournament arena starts in some 2 hours. You still have time to join. We have an international master already joined, a grandmaster already joined, and you guys will have a chance to play against some very strong opponents. So if you still want to join us, do join. We're going to be live streaming. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's have a nice event. But yeah. e4 from Nikolas, pawn to e5, we have knight to c3. Going for the Vienna game, we have knight to f6, bishop to c4, and bishop to c5. So the Anderson defense to the Vienna game, pawn to d3, and pawn to c6, preparing to strike with pawn to d5. And I know you guys are expecting pawn to f4, but okay. It is the 21st century. Let's go for knight to f3. Even though pawn to f4 is the second most played move in the position, pawn to d6, and we have castles by both players. We have bishop to g5, pawn to h6, and now bishop to h4. Knight b to d7, and we've transposed into some sort of a bishop's opening, the Spielmann attack variation, where a couple of moves have been played here. Pawn to d4 has been played, pawn to a4 has been played, but Nikolas goes for pawn to a3, and it is now as of move 9 that we have a completely new game. Okay, b4 being threatened, so pawn to a5, stopping pawn to b4, bishop to a2, and rook to e8. Okay, you're defending e5. You might be interested in some d5 action in the future. We have pawn to d4, advancing with an attack on the bishop on c5. Captures, and now knight to e5. We have pawn to f3, strengthening the e4 pawn, and now pawn to a4. Now just grabbing more space, freeing that a5 square. You might use it to develop the queen if needed, to unpin maybe from the bishop, and all in all, just grabbing more space. We have king to h1, unpinning from this diagonal, and knight to g6, attacking the bishop, bishop to f2, knight to h5, and now just queen to d2. So one of the few games where Nikolas gets sort of outplayed in the opening, as he's the one burning more time. But even though Alexandr blitzed out all of the moves up until maybe move 12, now he starts spending some time. We have queen to f6, rook a to d1, and knight h to f4. And okay, it's a very excellently placed knight. You could easily get checkmated if you're not careful. So bishop to e3, we have queen to e5, and rook f to e1. Still waiting with that pawn to g3 move to kick away the knight. Bishop to d7, nicely continuing development, connecting the rooks, and pawn to g3. We have knight to h3, and now queen to g2. Putting pressure on that knight, and okay, you might have a lot of ideas here. The bishop here on a2 is a monster bishop. The knight might come to f5 at some point, blocking the bishop, so the knight could be threatened. If you capture, then the e file opens up. That could also be relevant. The bishops are also having some sort of a discussion here, so it's a very, very difficult position to calculate. As you can see, the players are already very low on time. It's only move 21. So Predke strikes in the center with pawn to d5. Makes sense. You challenge Nikolas' strong point and also close up the light square bishop. Rook to e2, and now queen to f6. And this makes sense. If you just go for d captures on e4, then after knight captures, let's say bishop to b6, you can go knight to b5 already. Not the easiest line to calculate. If you don't find rook to e7, then black is already even lost here. But okay, after rook e2, we have queen f6 by Alexandr, and now queen to f1. Very, very interesting move, and you'll see what the idea behind it is. We have knight to e5, as that's why queen f6 was played. One of the reasons to free up the e5 square for the knight and to put pressure on that f3 pawn. And now Nikolas plays e captures on d5, knight captures on f3. Seems like you're lost, but what is the idea behind knight captures on f3? Here we're going to discuss three fairly long lines, and for a very good reason. I mean, we cannot go past this game without checking out these three lines, as I've found them to be the most crucial ones. If you go for a trade here, queen captures on f3, then comes bishop captures on d4, and you're just dead lost. It doesn't matter what you play. Even with the best engine continuation, queen captures on f6, bishop captures, and now rook. Okay, bishop to g4 is coming, so you have to defend those rooks. You can play rook e to e1, bishop captures on c3. And after b captures, look at this, bishop g4, you attack the rook, and once the rook moves, the simple bishop f3 check ends the game. Because after, let's say, rook g2, as it's the only move you have, c captures on d5. And there is no move that white can make here. It's just a very, very simple idea for black. You can play rook e5, you can double up rooks, whatever you play. It doesn't really matter. Let's say pawn to c4, you can play rook to e5. Let's say you capture on d5, you double up. Even if you don't play this with white, whatever you play, it's the same. And now you just get destroyed. You're getting checkmated within a couple of moves. So that's why after knight captures on f3, Nikolas prepared something else. He plays knight to e6. And this is now, well, believe it or not, the position is equal, but calculating this and achieving that equal position is completely a different matter. Now, in the game, bishop captures on e3 was played, but what's the idea behind capturing the knight? Well, if f captures on e6, then the trick is knight to e4. You attack the queen and the bishop, and now after queen captures on b2, attacking the bishop on a2, now you go d captures on e6, and after bishop captures on e3, captures on d7 with check, and after queen captures on a2, you're going to capture the rook here, bring your queen into the game, also with check. Rook captures, and now queen captures on f3, and there's nothing for you to do here. The bishop is hanging. If you move the bishop, then knight f6 check, you lose the rook, and you're getting checkmated. So that's the problem. So bishop captures on e3 is Alexandra's only move, and he plays it. Bishop captures on e3. And now Nikolas blunders the game, believe it or not. He played knight to e4. What you have to play here is rook captures on e3. Also, one of the reasons why I say that this is impossible to calculate, because now, okay, you're threatening the knight. Look at this, knight f to g5. You offer a queen trade, and now after the queens get traded off, king g2. Okay, f captures on e6, d captures on e6. Now you cannot bring the bishop to c8, otherwise e7 check, and white will have a winning position. So bishop captures, rook d to e1, piling up on the bishop, king f7, bishop captures on e6, rook captures, and now you have to play something, but rook captures on e6 is the only move that it doesn't lose. And now you, if you capture, then of course this knight becomes weak, so you might as well mess up white's pawn structure. Knight f4 check, captures, knight captures, and you get something like this, where it's equal material and it's an equal position. But yeah, you have to see all of that. In the game, Nikolas did not find rook captures on e3, which is the only move. Both of them are already down to 7 minutes on the clock. He played knight to e4, and now Alexandr is winning, but you have to find the correct move. He plays queen captures on b2, which is by far the best, but now Nikolas tricks him. He plays pawn to c3, and this is why Nikolas is so deadly. He's attacking the queen, and Alexandr is still completely winning, and there are so many moves that win for him. He can just play queen captures on a3, and there's no real danger here. Black is still just winning. But the real trick is, what if you play knight to f2 check? Even this move is winning. Point being that after king to g2, you will move the queen. Let's say queen captures on a3. And after rook captures on e3, you will play knight captures on d1. And after queen captures, you will play queen captures on a2 with check. King captures on f3, and now queen captures on d5. And the point is that after, let's say, captures and captures, the knight that's hanging on e6 is still hanging, and whatever you play, you're just going to pick up that knight, and you're going to be up a full rook. So this is possibly the best white can get, so being down a full rook. So yeah, after pawn to c3, Alexandr is completely winning. But Nikolas tricks him. Alexandr plays knight to d2, and it seems like it's still, perfectly winning because, well, all of the moves are, except if Nikolas finds the one move that isn't winning for Alexandr, and Nikolas found it. What do you think that move is? Try to find it while I give you a couple of seconds. Believe it or not, it's not. It has nothing to do with capturing on d2. It's actually knight f6 check. This is what the problem is for Alexandr. And look at this pawn on c3, just preventing the black queen from even being a part of the black king's defenses. And now you have to capture, and that's it. Call it a day. It's a draw. You have to capture, and after queen captures, there is a mate being threatened, and now you just have to capture and allow white to settle for a perpetual queen g6 check, king h8, queen f6 check, and however you play this, white will just continue checking, and it's going to be a draw by perpetual checks. But after this knight to f6 check, I guess Alexandr still wanted to win this. He played king to h8, and now Nikolas is completely winning all of a sudden. So have at it. Feel free to pause the video and win the game for Nikolas while I give you a couple of seconds. Like I said, straight from the 19th century, it is queen to f5, threatening mate on h7. And the only way to defend it is to play pawn to g6. But if you play pawn to g6, then this diagonal opens up and new problems arise. So pawn to g6, queen e5, and there is no defense. Whatever you play, let's say you capture the knight, just knight captures on e8 with a check, and wherever the black king goes, doesn't really matter, it's going to be checkmate. So here, after this queen to e5 move, knight to f3 was played, a beautiful, tricky move by Alexandr, attacking Nikolas's queen, but Nikolas finds the best possible move. And also, the queens are both attacked, so it's also an offer of a queen trade. But Nikolas just plays queen captures on e3, and he was in this position on move 31. Yes, it's only move 31. Incredible that Alexandr Predke resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. His queen is hanging. If he moves the queen, even if he captures the rook, Nikolas has zero interest in that queen, as queen captures on h6 is checkmate with the knight covering g8. I mean, what a game. Queen captures on e3, Alexandr resigns, and a beautiful victory for Nikolas Theodorou on board one for Greece. We'll see how the other games end, but Greece is on a very nice path to winning the European Team Championship 2025. And with this victory, I think Nikolas is now over 2660 on the live ratings. So yeah, closing in on that 2700, as we've already decided that it will happen. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Beautifully played by both of them. Alexandr had it, but in the midst of chaos, Nikolas was the better hunter. I would like to thank Robert Arathun, Rocajo, John Anderson, Ulrich Thini, and Gerard St. Pierre for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And if you still haven't, join the tournament. First link in the description below, and of course, download Lotus Chess. Second link in the description below. Improve your chess and play like Nikolas here, because with Lotus, it is possible. See you soon.